Hi everybody, I'm Ashley and welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. So today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Rose in the Air palette by Wet n Wild. I purchased this one and two other ones, but today's video is going to be mainly on the Rose in the Air palette. But before we continue, if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I am Ashley. Make sure to click that subscribe button down below before you leave. And if you want to get a personal notification to your phone anytime that I upload a video, click the bell that is next to the subscribe button and your phone will notify you anytime that I upload a video. So let's go ahead and get started with this video. So I purchased the Rose in the Air palette because I saw it online and I immediately thought that it looked just like the Modern Renaissance palette. So let me go ahead and open this one so you guys can see what they look like side by side, so you guys can see the resemblance. They look really similar, right? There are 4 shades in the Modern Renaissance palette that are not replicated in this one, and that is Venetian Red, Vermeer, Golden Ochre, and Raw Sienna. From what I got, like when I looked at it, I saw that those 4 shades were not duped, I guess you'd say, into this palette. So this palette has 4 shades less, so it has 10 shades, and then this one has 14. So I did use this palette on my eyes today, all over my eyes today, and it worked really well. So I used the bottom shade, the transition shade at the bottom, the brown one, this red ochre shade, the orange shade, the brow bone shade, and then the shimmer shade. Those are all of the shades that I used on my eyes today, and that is the look that I have on. I did put on some lashes, but I put very thin lashes so that when I get close up, you guys can see what the eyeshadow looks like and see how it's blended and stuff like that, because they did blend well. So in my honest opinion, if you were to ask me if I think it's worth it, I would say yeah, because it is $5, $4.99, and then the Anastasia Beverly Hills one is like $42 or $48. I'm not 100% sure on the price of this one, but I know that it's way more expensive than the Rose in the Air palette by Wet n Wild. So Wet n Wild is a cruelty-free brand, and on the front of the palette it does say cruelty-free, so that is a plus. And you can find this at Walgreens, and you don't got to worry about going online or anything like that. You can just go to Walgreens and you'll find it. I don't know if this is a Walgreens exclusive, but I found mine at Walgreens. And then on the front, Wet n Wild's products, usually when they release, they have this little band and it just says new. As you guys can see, it just says new, and normally it'll say like limited edition or something like that to let you know if the palette or the item is limited edition, and this one doesn't say that. So I'm thinking that this might be a permanent palette. So I wanted to mention to you really quickly the other 2 that I picked. I picked up Not a Basic Peach and the Comfort Zone palette. So Comfort Zone palette by Wet n Wild is super known. When I read that it said Comfort Zone, it says new formula and new look. So I figured, okay, they have a new formula and then they just rearranged the palette. But then when I put together the one that I have at home and this one has 2 matte shades, whereas this one has no matte shades. So they are transition shades. It says transition on the actual shadow, which is really cool that they did that. I think it's a good idea that they did that. I mean, I know some people have their own transition shades at home, but the fact that they included them in this palette, I feel like makes this palette so much more better. The formula on this one, I haven't tried it out yet, but so far, like using this one, I would say that the formula is really nice. All of the matte shades, they didn't apply patchy. I will say you have to build them up, because after blending for so long, it just, like, the color can start to fade. The more you blend with higher end palettes or like the Morphe palette, it just helps the eyeshadow look nice and seamless. Whereas this one, you'll get that seamless look, but the more you blend, the more the shadow goes away. I hope that makes sense. It's not a bad thing because it is $5, but I didn't have any problems with this palette. So let me go ahead and zoom you guys in really quickly so you guys can see what the eyeshadow looks like. Can you guys see? So this is the eyeshadow on this eye. Well, both eyes, but I'm showing you this eye. And so far, so good. I think it wore well. It is 7 o'clock in the morning and I work until 6 o'clock at night. So I'm going to have this makeup on for some time. And in the description box down below, I will update you guys, because I think I'm going to upload this before the end of the day. Maybe. I might not. But just check the description box and I'll let you guys know how it wore, just so you guys can know if the eyeshadows last throughout the day, etc. And I did apply the base on my lid, and I'll let you know if it transferred, which so far hasn't transferred, and I had it over 40 minutes on my eyes. So the other 2 palettes I'm not going to talk about in this video. I'm going to save that for a different video, just because it's a little bit easier for me to review one palette at a time, because I'm very forgetful and I'll forget my thoughts on this palette if I don't write them down. But I just did this one in this video. So The other ones will be linked down below once they are up. So that is all that I have to say about this palette. If it's worth it, yes. Does it blend well? Yes. Is it worth $5? Yes. So go ahead and pick yours up at Walgreens. They are $4.99, so I think that they're worth it. And that is all that I have to say. So I did include a demo of this look. It's going to be a voiceover, not a talk through, because it is 7 o'clock in the morning and I didn't want to wake up my children, so I didn't do a talk through. So it will be a voiceover, and I think that is all that I have to say. Let me know if you guys picked up this palette, because I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks about it. I think that it's good, but I personally haven't had any problems with Wet n Wild shadows in the past, but I do really like the way that that palette performed today. So that is all that I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Alrighty guys, so the first shade I'm going in with is shade number 10, and I'm using a Sigma E40 for this. This is my first transition shade that I'm going to be using out of the entire palette, and this shade did blend well, and I had no problems with it. It wasn't patchy or anything like that. It worked well, and I just put it in my crease. The next shade that I'm going in with is shade number 3. Now this shade was also not patchy. It worked really well. I used the same exact brush. I'm just focusing this one a little bit lower than shade number 10, just so that that shade can still peek through the top and you get that gradient effect. I'm using the same brush, and this is also obviously the Sigma E40, which is a really good brush. I can create like a badass eye look using just a Sigma E40 and a MAC 242. So this brush is a staple. It's a must-have. And this shade, I also wanted to point it out really quickly. I did have to build up. So you guys see me blending it out right now. I'm dipping it again. I think this was my 3rd time dipping into the shadow, just because after doing windshield wiper motions for a certain amount of time, it does fade, like I mentioned in my review. Now I'm taking shade number 5 with the same brush, and I'm just packing that in the crease. It's going to add a little bit more warmth to the look as well. I really liked this shade, and all of these shades blended really well, and I had a very minimal fallout. So as I have a little bit less product on my brush, I go ahead and I blend it upwards. So now I'm taking a Morphe M139, and I'm taking shade number 9, and I'm packing that in my crease to add a little bit more definition. I was impressed with this shade because I thought it was going to be patchy, but it really wasn't. It fit in my crease really nicely. It added definition. I didn't have any fallout with this shade, and it was super pigmented. So I really enjoyed that shade. It's a really good color. And this is the dupe for Cypress Umber, which a lot of people really enjoy, that brown in the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. So this one did perform well, and I really did enjoy it. So on my lid, I am taking shade number 4. I did already apply, sorry, that was tongue twister. I did already apply my MAC mixing medium on my lid to prevent creasing. And right now, as I'm doing this voiceover, it is 12:44 p.m. I've had this shadow on for 6 hours, and I have absolutely no transferring. Again, in the description box down below, I will update you guys on my entire day, but it worked well with the base. It stood on my lid. Now, I will say this is not a bam shade, like it's a metallic shade, but it's nothing too intense, but it does wear nicely. And then the last shade I'm using is shade number 2 as my brow bone highlight. This is a very bright shade, and it is very white. So that basically completes the look. I will leave everything else that is on my face down in the description box down below. Just blend it, make it look nice, and I really do recommend this palette. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video.